For everything good, there must be something bad. And today, we're going to talk about what was bad about Star Wars Episode 4, originally the first, A New Hope. Stay tuned. Alrighty, guys, Brent here for Geek to discuss Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope. What was wrong with this is part of our ongoing series. We talk about what's good movies, what's bad movies. We covered Lord of the Rings, we covered The Hobbit, we even covered Rings of Power, we covered the Star Wars prequels. Now we're on to the OGs, the originals, considered some of the best trilogy of all time, not only by critics, but by even AI. So, come to find out, this is a very renowned series, but for everything good, there has to be something bad. Ultimately, this series, this movie, while providing us with some of the greatest moments throughout the series, overall, it felt very bland, very blasé. Like, there wasn't a lot to it. It was a really well-cooked steak, and you really enjoyed it. It was one of the best steaks you ever had. But it felt like you were missing something. And I've struggled throughout this week trying to pinpoint overall what I felt this movie was lacking. And I know, a Star Wars fan being very particular about stuff that we love. To us, it just kind of is who we are. And while there's a lot of good moments in this, we had the Han shot first scene. With the introduction to the Force. Darth Vader had a nice little intro there. We got to see Grand Moff Tarkin, a little short for a stormtrooper. We had Han saving Luke from being destroyed by his father in a TIE fighter. Like, look out! There was a lot to break down overall, including the destruction of the Death Star. And these are all well and grand, and you think overall, hey, these are enough moments to make this film great, right? For me, not really. What? And when I look for most movies, I look for a level of rewatchability to it. And this movie was as cookie cutter gets. And people are expecting me to come in here and be like, oh, this movie was bad because of the special effects, or the lack of CGI, or this and that, about like how dated this film was. I get it, how dated it is. For when it was released, this was cutting edge stuff. This was the best of the best. They cut no corners. They overspent their budget by a couple $1 million, which at that time frame is a lot of money. But everything looked great. I have no complaints with that. But for some reason, this film in my mind felt like it was missing something. I don't know if I was looking for more of an exciting space battle, because there was a space battle. But did anything really happen? Did we really lose anybody important? Like, we lost Alderaan. We didn't even know Alderaan existed before this film started. I'm not really gonna be crying over that. The fact that we've had all of the Disney tie-ins where we should probably care more about it, yeah, maybe more sentimental now. But based upon the time when this movie was released, no. You're not invested. You don't care. You just understand that it was a planet that stood up against corruption, and, well, the corrupt won. Unequivocally. It blew you and everyone you knew and loved completely into space dust. It's like, I don't know what total eradication looks like, but that's the closest thing to it you see outside of maybe the Dragon Ball Z universe, where someone snaps and then boom, your entire galaxy is gone. Like, not just a little bit of thing. Galaxy, universe, whatever you want to call it, nitty-gritty, gone. Just like that. There were pieces that were left out that I think should have been added into the film at the time, but the timing of everything was a little different. As in, we can't really piece together when George really got the ideas for these things, because he had so many ideas that what was cut and then what he added on later to kind of supplement certain gaps and certain holes throughout his universe have gotten really vague over the years, I'm not going to lie. And the fact that Boba Fett was the one responsible for killing Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru is something that shouldn't have been skipped over. Because we got Boba in the next film, and he was cool. And we got Boba in the very, very next film. He was also even cooler. But he said very little. But if we saw him do something that was heinous, it'd push him from cool-looking bounty hunter with edgy new armor that, hey, maybe we'll make our own series about just because the armor looks cool, to now this character has some real villainous sides to him. We understand he's really, really just a bad guy, and he's got something very personal against Jedi. You know, maybe his dad getting killed in front of him from Mace Windu would have been something to add on to that. However, we got very, very little as far as text involving them. And then the one thing that bothered me the most throughout this film, and I know George has gone back and fixed a lot of what was going on, the Force was very, very poorly fleshed out. And I understand, it's an opening series, you don't want to get inundated with the nitty-gritty, meticulous plot points and details of each and every single part of your universe, because, well, Star Wars consists of significant number of galaxies, significant number of planets, races, peoples, ethnicities, religions, cultures, you name it. There is just everything everywhere all at once. You have different species of things talking with just regular humans. We're talking to another species of things that we don't understand. You have a Wookiee talking to a Trandoshan, talking to a human who's also hanging out with an Utapau. Like, what in the world is going on? But this is the Star Wars universe that we know, we love, and we adore. And the Force, the main thing, the main catalyst that moves your entire galaxy. It is the most important thing. You either have it and therefore are important, or you don't and you play a subplot point. No! That is the make or break of things. It's like being put into, say, the Naruto universe and you don't have chakra. You're useless. You have chakra. You can be important. Unless you're 10-10. But overall, nothing was fleshed out other than the fact that I can wave my hand and you're ultimately going to say or do whatever I want you to do.
You don't need to see his identification.
The Force then is explained as something that even if I am murdered in my physical form, I can come back more powerful than ever.
You can't win, Darth. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to call hacks on that, Obi. You guys didn't do anything when you were in ghost form. You're dead. You have no physical presence, you have no spiritual power, and you don't push any part of the plot forward other than the fact that you show up one time in the very next film and you tell Luke what you should have told him initially, just in case. Because if this kid is our only hope, I'm giving him plan A through Z and every backup plan in between. Just cause he is our future and you're withholding information from him? I understand you've known him for decades, but I feel like you've had time to at least drop a nugget here or there and try and make something happen overall. Did you? No. And then the next time the Force is talked about, it's talking about shooting proton torpedoes down a shaft. We don't see Luke use the Force. It's just assumed that he uses the Force to guide them in. And for someone to be able to use the Force that just learned about it while in space, while under high duress, while guiding a missile going through space's either gravity or lack thereof, and guiding it directly down a shaft to whatever port it needs to hit to cause the explosion of the Death Star. I'm gonna need more information on that. I think honestly he just had a good shot. And while it's going to be ultimately explained away as he used the Force, he trusted it, it guided him. You wouldn't have the Force, sir, because you don't believe in it. Oh, no, I get that. I understand where you would say that about me. But my job is to critically analyze what was good and what was bad. And I have very, very minor gripes. But my minor gripes overall make this the most unwatchable opening film of any of the Star Wars films.
What?
And that's saying a lot considering what we have coming down the line. There's a lot of nostalgia attached to this, and I know it's going to rile a couple people up, but at the same time, my opinion is my opinion. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Tell me what I got right. Tell me what I got wrong. If you want to hear more content that we got, hit that lovely red subscribe button. It does wonders for us. Greatly appreciate talking to each and every single one of you in the comment section about stuff we got going on. We have a lot of big things rolling around the corner for you. See you in the next video.